saying is, I watched the Boston Celtics play Milwaukee last night. I'm still looking at Milwaukee. I'm looking at Embiid returning. I'm looking at Miami being Miami. If the Warriors play that way, you ain't winning the championship. And that's how I'm measuring them by, since they are my pick, they're your pick. That's how I'm looking at it. That's the litmus test that I'm measuring it upon. And so for me to watch them struggle the way that they struggled last night just to make a shot, I was not happy about it.
I think for me, I would look at it the other way. You still won a game when you played that way offensively. I'm sure it's happened. I can't recall watching a game in which I thought to myself, I've never seen Klay Thompson and Steph Curry shoot like this on the same night collectively. And they were good looks for the most part, and they couldn't buy one. Missed their first, 15, 16 three-pointers as a team. They look buried. Bane's throwing in half-court shots. They're picking up loose ball rebounds and putting them in, Kyle Anderson. And I'm saying to myself, it's Memphis's night. It's just their night. It's not going to happen tonight. It's going to get real interesting now going forward. And what do? They resort to the greatness of Steph Curry down the stretch. He gets hot. And I look at it like this. A playoff series is checking boxes, getting to 4. It's a race to 4. It's really all that matters at the end of the day. The fact you could win a game when you played that poorly offensively. Jordan Poole, a shell of what he has been to this part in the postseason, and you still figured out a way to win the game. And look, Memphis contributed to it. Their late game shot selection, their ball management at the end of the game was terrible. They showed a lack of poise. It allowed the gate to be open. But I would actually look, if I'm Steve Kerr, I wake up with such a sense of relief that we could play that poorly and win a really, really important game. I'm still cool with Golden State. They did score 140 points in the last game. So this isn't a trend every night where they're struggling to get to 90. They just put up a 140 spot, and they played horrible last night.
Yeah, and they didn't have Kerr, obviously, coaching.
We knew with Ja Morant out that the Grizzlies' defense was going to be better. That was the case all regular season in the 25 games that he missed. I think what maybe is a little concerning is it seems like, at least in this series specifically, the Warriors' offense is toggling between the Warriors' offense that we have all come to know and love with the ball movement and player movement, and then there's just these quick possessions where there's no real ball movement or player movement, and they're taking tough contested shots. And some of that, of course, is the Grizzlies' defense. But when we talk about a championship and we look forward, you mentioned those teams, we look forward to potentially the Suns in the next round or a Boston Celtics in the finals, a Milwaukee Bucks, Philly. Like, they're going to have a lot of trouble scoring against those defenses. I think about the Celtics a lot. That matchup for the Warriors, I don't like that matchup for the Warriors.
I would agree with you. I mean, it's particularly based on what I saw last night. Listen, the bottom line is this. We know what stirs the cup is Steph Curry. And then we get to Steph Curry combined with Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson. And when you see them looking normal, and then you think about Boston's defense and what they can do, all of a sudden you start looking at the Boston Celtics, particularly when they come out. I said coming in yesterday when I was with JJ Tim, I said, look, Boston's got to win to last night, going into last night. I said, they don't win this series, it's over because you're not beating Giannis 3 straight games. It's not happening. It's just not, there's no way. They come back, they down double digits, they come right back in the same damn quarter. This is what they do. We know they can clamp down. And so when I'm looking at Golden State struggling the way that they're struggling, I'm saying to myself, look, you can't let that happen, because you will not win the championship if that happens. Yeah, I think that Golden State is good enough to get by anybody in the West, including Phoenix, including Dallas. That is what my core belief has been all season long, and I believe they're going to win the chip. But then I'm watching Boston, and I'm watching their defense elevate the way that it has. And I know that Milwaukee doesn't have Middleton and stuff like that, but when you look at Boston, and then you start measuring what it's going to require in order for you to knock them off, if you're a team like the Golden State Warriors, you can't play like you played last night.
Problem I have, well, here's the thing, though. Think about what we're all saying. We're talking about Boston matching up with Golden State. We're talking about Milwaukee matching up with Golden State. Well, you know what that would have meant? That would have meant Golden State just beat the Suns. How different are you going to feel? Assuming, look, I don't want to dismiss Dallas. That's a 2-2 series.
I'm not dismissing any of
that. Right, so I want to be clear. That's what I expect to happen. I expect Phoenix and Golden State to play for a right to go to the NBA Finals. If we are getting that matchup, that means that Golden State just operated in a way to beat the Phoenix Suns, the best team in the NBA this season. So my point is, 2 weeks from now, if that's the matchup we get in the finals, maybe you feel a little differently about Golden State and what they must have had to do in that series to give you more faith that they can operate against Milwaukee or against Boston. Look, that was ugly last night. There's no way around it. They still dug out of it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.